Many products going to Taiwan are subject to the BSMI certification. The certification is issued by the Bureau of Standards, Metrology and Inspection, hence BSMI. And to pass the certification, these products need to conform to Chinese national standards, the CNS, after which they can be marked with the CNS logo, and finally they are ready to be imported into and sold in Taiwan. The thing is, however, that not all products are certified the same way. Instead, there are 6 different ways to approve a product for import, each with different requirements, a different process, different marking, and very different complexity. Within each of these 6 approval schemes, different certification modules might be required for different products, and even within certain product groups, the required modules might differ between 2 specific products. And to make it even more complicated, there's also an option for some cases to choose to undergo a much higher level of scrutiny in the beginning to avoid batch-by-batch inspections of every single shipment in the future. So, with this video, let me try to make some sense of this regulatory jungle so you can prepare yourself successfully for marketing your product in Taiwan. Generally speaking, which type of approval is needed depends mainly on the safety of the particular product you're trying to import. And the term safety here refers as much to the product itself as to the targeted application or the level of standardization of the production of this product. So even within one product category, different individual products can fall under different approval schemes depending on their safety rating, which makes it very difficult to directly identify the applicable scheme for any particular product in advance. Also, given that more than 700 different products require some form of BSMI approval, I unfortunately cannot list all of them here in this video. Let me hence first summarize the general categories of affected products, and following that I will introduce the different approval schemes with some examples. With that, you should hopefully be able to get an initial idea what might be specifically required for your product. So, the different categories of certifiable products are toys, children's products other than toys, some textiles, automobile tires and safety belts, coatings, fire-resistant building materials, wooden planks, protective gear, some building materials and plastics, some steel products, products for gas management such as stoves, valves and regulators, household ceramics and metal products, as well as a very long list of consumer and industrial electronics as well as electric tools. Okay, next let's get into the different approval schemes. The 6 basic schemes are 1. Batch-by-batch inspection. 2. Type-approved batch inspection, or TABI abbreviated. 3. Monitoring inspection. 4. Quality management inspection. 5. Registration of product certification, or RPC. And 6. Declaration of conformity, or DOC. Now, in all the schemes, products are being tested. But within the 4 inspection schemes, each shipment might be subject to testing. And only in the 5th and the 6th scheme, the certification schemes, the products will not be tested again after the initial registration and testing. Also, they all use a blue arrow within a blue circle as the marking logo. But the registration number below will start with a different letter depending on the applicable scheme. Okay, before I explain each of these schemes in detail, let me first talk about some basic principles of the first 4, the 4 inspection schemes. Products like gas cans, lighters, cement, coatings, ceramic tiles, plywood, or toys fall into one of these 4 categories. They are all based on shipment-based inspections, meaning the general idea is to inspect every single shipment, select some test samples from each batch, and if the products qualify, they can then be marked with one of the blue logos and sold in Taiwan. Now here we can already see one potential issue. The marking happens after the import, when the manufacturer has very little control over it. And that's not it. There are 4 different schemes because of several exceptions. Sometimes, to be approved, additional tests must be conducted in advance of the shipment, or the manufacturer must provide proof of a quality management certification, or after several successful shipments, future inspection frequency might be reduced. All of these exceptions cause a different version of the blue logo, which is the reason for the different names, i.e. batch-by-batch inspection, type-approved batch inspection, monitoring inspection, and quality management inspection. Now, because these many exceptions and the requirement of marking after import make these schemes rather inconvenient to manufacturers, for most of these products there is the option of going directly for the RPC scheme, in which all the testing and inspecting is done before the shipment, and you will get an actual certification that is valid for 3 years. Really, the first 4 inspection schemes are catered towards Taiwanese manufacturers with factories abroad. And the remaining 2 actual certification schemes make more sense for foreign manufacturers. So let me now go into these certification schemes where the focus is on thorough initial inspection to avoid future shipment inspections. As I alluded to before, the following RPC certification scheme is also a viable option for almost all the products that fall under one of the inspection schemes. But for some products, this is the required process. So, which products would that be? Okay, if the products have a relatively high risk level, such as electric tools, cables and plugs, gas appliances, baby products, construction products, or personal protective equipment, they then fall under the Registration of Product Certification, or RPC. In this RPC scheme, the original certification will include type tests from designated laboratories and some form of a production inspection. Now, depending on the type of product, this RPC scheme consists of up to 7 modules, each of which has a different function or represents a different level of scrutiny. Which modules will have to be used in any given certification depends on the product that needs to be certified. Okay, these 7 modules are: number 1, the internal control module. That refers to internal quality assurance systems within the factories producing the product, which needs to be presented. Number 2, the type testing module. As the name suggests, this refers to product tests according to Chinese national standards. Now, let me add here that products can only be tested in labs that are specifically accredited for them and not for others. So one of the first things necessary to be clarified is whether product can actually be tested. Number 3, the Declaration of Conformity module. Now this refers to a document which basically looks like the self-declaration in CE certification that works for many products in Europe. Number 4 is the QMS module, which refers to basically ISO 9000 or any similar certification, and hence is a higher requirement than just your internal quality management system. Number 5, the production QM module. This also refers to ISO 9000 or similar, but specific to the production line. Now, number 6, the product QM module. This is referring to ISO 9000 or a similar certification, as well as a product-specific certification. Now, lastly, number 7, the factory inspection module. This should be self-explanatory. If this module is required for your product, your production line will need to be inspected by BSMI auditors. Okay, so much for the 7 different modules. Now, all products require a type test, which is module 2. And as I said, an important caveat here is that these type tests can only be conducted in specific testing laboratories designated by the BSMI. Also, in addition to these tests, the applicant shall draft a declaration of conformity to type, which ensures that the manufactured commodities are in conformity with those in the type test report, which is module 3. Now, for products of very high risk, a quality management system, which are modules 4, 5, or 6, or a factory inspection, which is module 7, might also be required to ensure repeatable production of products at the quality level confirmed by the type test of the product. Which modules are required is confirmed on a case-by-case basis, but the blue mark in any case will start with the letter R. Please also note that the products that originally fell under one of the inspection schemes, but that have now been certified by the RPC scheme, are also required to have printed out labels purchased directly from the BSMI on them, in addition to the blue arrow mark. In any case, the resulting certificate has a validity of 3 years, during which time no additional batch tests are done for individual shipments. Another test is only required after the initial 3 years have expired. Okay, let's come to the last certification scheme, the Declaration of Conformity, or DOC. A few standard IT products such as PC components, typewriters, calculators, tape recorders, or digital cameras are subject to this scheme. When eligible, these products require only initial testing and registration, will be published in a public database, and require no further inspection in the future. Okay, we're close to the finish line now. Now, one more thing about the applicant. In the 4 inspection schemes where the marking is generally applied after import, obviously your importer plays a crucial role. Because it's not only about sticking the label onto the product, the importer must actually be the applicant to be allowed to do that. In fact, in all schemes, a Taiwanese entity must be the applicant. However, in the 2 certification schemes, this can be handled by an agent, which might be easier. Please note though that all shipments must be announced to the BSMI. So if you use us, for example, as your agent, please let us know each time your importer wants to import. All right, we finally made it. That's it. I hope this information helps you in your preparation for BSMI certification. Of course, as always, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them at any point in time. You can find the relevant contact forms on our website. Thank you for your attention. Take care.